At the time of this recording, the Switch 2 will be with us in fewer than 2 days. Well, you say fewer if it's items, but if I'm counting days in like, not necessarily like units of time, but more like that's just like the amount of time, would I still say fewer or less? I don't know. Point is, Switch 2 is happening soon, and we're all super duper excited about that. There's all the hubbub, but I did not want to miss the opportunity to say something about Splatoon, because May 28th, under a week ago, marked the 10-year anniversary of the original Splatoon on the Wii U. The Splatoon series is now a decade old, which is crazy that it's been that long, because Splatoon was the new one, you know? It was the new kid in class. But now it is a well-established Nintendo IP. Not even just a Nintendo IP, a tentpole Nintendo IP. One of their biggest ones, their biggest, most important and beloved ones. And I just wanted to take a little time to appreciate it, because I think that it deserves it. I don't play like an absolute ton of Splatoon, you know, naturally. I'm not super into like multiplayer shooters and whatnot. The thing is, I have played plenty. I play each one, I review each one. I really love Salmon Run. I can't even tell you how happy I am they introduced like a local co-op thing rather than a competitive thing. I really love that. I always love the campaigns. They're really fun. Mostly though, more than anything, I just appreciate the series. I just appreciate what it is and what it does. People who have been following me for a long time, a lot of them are probably like, they know what I'm about to say. One of the oldest ideas that I have for like videos that like I still kind of want to do, and every once in a while I tease it, but then just like years and years go by. This probably goes back really, really far. Wouldn't be surprised if it was 7 or 8 years by now. But there's this idea for video. I just wanted to make like a Splatoon appreciation video, just kind of like really going into detail, everything I think that the series does right and all the reasons I appreciate it. Make it just like a really nice like love letter to the series. And yeah, I've like told my Patreon supporters about this going way back. So yeah, they're probably rolling their eyes, because at this point I still don't even know when it's happening. Some ideas just keep getting pushed, and I don't know why. It just kind of happens. Life happens. We'll see if it ever actually does happen. At this point, I'm not even willing to promise. But I've had that idea for a while, because I do just think the series is so cool. The Wii U generation was a little bit hard, and I'm not gonna, rag on it too much. But I will just say that, like, at the time, it just kind of felt like, direct after direct would happen, and there just wouldn't really be a lot that captured my interest, that just seemed like really ambitious. I think maybe that was one of my big problems with the Wii U, was just it felt like a lot of the games were good, but not necessarily ambitious. This was Nintendo's first big HD capable console. So there was just a stretch of time where it felt kind of rare for me to come away from a presentation being like, oh man, those, like, look at all those crazy big games. I can't wait to play them. So Splatoon was one of those rare instances during that generation where I was just like, whoa, hey, they've really got something here, Like another example would be like Breath of the Wild, where everything is feeling kind of boring and samey, but then like, whoa, that looks really good though. Splatoon was one of those. It was just like, the concept seemed so immediately genius to me. And there are a lot of reasons why I think Splatoon is just great overall, because it's not even just the concept. A lot of it is the execution. The series is clearly helmed by younger folks at Nintendo, people who really understand the value of multiplayer. Because, Nintendo has always loved multiplayer, but they don't necessarily understand, like, competitive multiplayer. They like casual couch multiplayer, Mario Kart, Mario Party, Mario Sports, and all that. So it was really refreshing to see a team of people doing a real, true, honest-to-goodness, feature-rich, competitive multiplayer game, and updating it, and like making it better and better and better, and balancing it. Like, we don't get a lot of Nintendo series that are like that, where they clearly are like, we want to foster a strong and fun and healthy competitive ecosystem. So like that's one reason why Splatoon was so refreshing, and it's doing really well. I guess I'm just giving you like the Spark Notes version of like why I think the series is great. I think they also really just nailed the style. You know, there was once a time when they were developing it and it was going to be like Mario paint or something, or it was going to be like bunnies. I don't know, but like they landed on something that was so unique, and yet it fit Nintendo really well, you know, with like just like a colorful, because like most of Nintendo's funnest and most popular IPs, like they're colorful. They have this like colorful, cartoony Nintendo style, and Splatoon fit perfectly into that while still feeling fresh and modern and unique in its own way. It really was just like the best of both worlds. It actually appealed to everyone, and it's not always easy to create a game with characters and an art style that really does appeal to a broad audience, but like somehow they did it. It's this fascinating mix of like oceany, fishy stuff, but it's modern, and they're in cities, and I don't know, it just somehow it seems to appeal to just about everybody, or at the very least a younger audience, which is like really important. It's kind of hard to figure out what young people these days want to be playing, what characters they want to look at. So Splatoon did it, and it has an interesting story. It has deep lore, which is not a thing that we get in a lot of different Nintendo IPs. So now we have this thing that is colorful and it's Nintendo-y, but it is also story-rich and has lore and world building and all that stuff. So there's just like, there's so many reasons to like it, but then really it all also just boils down to that core concept. You are not shooting bullets, you are shooting ink. And when the ink lands on the ground, you can then move through it really quickly, and you can use it to like go up walls. So just it's that idea. It's that core concept. It's so Nintendo. It's so perfect, like light bulb Nintendo. It is simple, and yet it is deep. It seems like not that new of an idea, and yet you look at it and you look at the execution and you look at the gameplay that it enables, the experiences that it creates, and you just like I don't know, like that's real innovation right there. You know, it's this thing where it doesn't just come down to shooting the other players. That's every other shooter out there. It's either that or it's something like Capture the Flag or whatever. It mostly just comes down to shooting other players, but now anybody can contribute. Even if you are not good at splatting other players, are you putting ink on the ground? Then you are doing something. And of course that's going to appeal to someone like me, who is not good at splatting other players. But then it's the fact that like as long as ink is going on the ground, it's transforming the terrain. That's what's so cool about it. It is transforming the terrain. It is affecting how you move and your teammates move and your opponents move. At all times, the terrain is constantly transforming throughout the entire match. It's just a genius idea. I still, even 10 years later, sometimes I just think about Splatoon and that core idea, and I just think it's so good. I think it's crazy good. And like, I don't know, a lot of game companies, artists, whatever, they want to try new things. And especially as time goes on, big companies are less and less willing to create new IPs, because each time you create one, that's kind of a risk. It's always safer to rely on an older IP. Again, this could have just been like Mario Paintball or whatever, and you know what? It probably would have done fine. But Nintendo took a gamble on a brand new, absolutely ground up brand new IP, and they do that very rarely. If you want to really just look at like the biggest games, like big full release games, like yes, they've dabbled with IPs here and there. You know, anytime they release a game with new characters, that's technically a new IP. But it is very rare that they take like a full swing with a like full game with its own whole entire brand new concept, everything just ground up, and not just a multiplayer game, you know, not something that's like almost exclusively multiplayer, not just like a smaller eShop title or whatever. Like, we're talking a full-blown release. It doesn't happen very often, and even if it does happen sometimes, they don't catch on very often. So, like, I'm not going to break down the whole entire list of like brand new IPs, but like in my mind, you talk like significant new IP. Pikmin was like, there was once a time when Pikmin was the brand new one, and that was like 2001. So like, since then, I don't know, like I know other things have kind of entered the mix. Nintendo has created new things. They've brought in outside studios. They've purchased studios to make, you know, you could say Xenoblade kind of became a Nintendo IP, but like ground up Nintendo style IP. It was like, it was kind of Pikmin, and then it was Splatoon. Splatoon was like the new thing. And it did so well. Like, that was really exciting because I thought it was so cool. I was really rooting for it. And of course, the Wii U did not sell very well. But like, the Wii U sold like 13, 14 million units. The first Splatoon sold 5 million. That is a very, very impressive attach rate. And that was really relieving because that was just like, oh, like, Nintendo's got something here. If you can sell 5 million copies of your brand new IP, completely untested, this is brand new, you can sell that much on a dramatically failing system. Yeah, you've got something here. You've got something for the future. And then, of course, they got Splatoon 2 real quick on Switch, and then that sold super duper well. 3 has sold super well. Like, the series concept was so good, and they executed it so perfectly that it immediately saw success. It immediately became one of Nintendo's tentpole IPs. They just did that good of a job. You know, some series have to struggle for a while. They have to grow. They have to be marketed. Word of mouth has to get around. Maybe it takes a few iterations of the idea of a few different games before they finally hit something. But they crafted magic with Splatoon. Right out of the gate, they did something so unique and so special that it just immediately became a phenomenon. And here we are. It's doing better than ever. I'm sure that the Switch 2 version is coming probably in the not too distant future, and it's probably gonna do really, really well because each game has just kind of gotten better. I'm sure that's debatable. I'm sure everybody's got a different opinion of like, no, 2 was the last good one. No, none of them have been good since 1. But I don't know, from where I'm standing, the team just seems to be making them better and better and always trying to innovate where they can. And like, sure, there's like a little bit of a frustration that each game has not been like a humongous leap over the previous one. The campaigns are like usually a little disappointingly short, but like they're kind of short but sweet. They are very good, and there's a lot packed into that kind of small experience. And then yeah, like the games don't change too much, which is disappointing in its own way. Okay, well, you got to spend the $60. Now it's going to be 70 or 80 or whatever, just to get like a new game every 4 or 5 years. Okay, sure. But I don't know. At the same time, I think I'm kind of okay with that because sometimes Nintendo has a tendency to like do the opposite, where they're like, we're not going to release a new game in this series for 14 years because we don't have like the big new idea. It's gotta be brand new and fresh every single time. Maybe you could argue that artistically that is a good thing to do in some cases, but I think sometimes it is okay to just do a new one. Do a new one that's a little bit better, a little bit different, and it's got a new story. That's the thing. Each time it's got a new story. It's a new chapter of this story. I like that. It's, you know, like you could argue that it's money grubbing, cynical, whatever. They're not changing it enough to justify the price. I don't know. I find myself feeling okay with it. I have been happy with each new Splatoon so far. There's like that tiny little piece of me that's like, I guess maybe they could have done more, but at the same time, I don't know. I'm kind of happy getting more of them faster. You know, I want to move through them faster. And then if you want to look at the greater industry, I mean, even spending 60, 70 bucks every few years is like, it's nothing compared to like, oh no, you got it. Like it's battle passes, it's subscriptions, you know, like every single game, you got to be spending hundreds of dollars on it per year to keep up. So like, I don't know. And I know there's like DLC that they sell too, but that's usually single player and it's optional. Whatever, you could argue about this all day. Point I'm trying to make is I like it. I kind of like the sort of gradual format. I like that we can look forward to a new Splatoon in the not too distant future. I think it's good. I guess that's it. I think Splatoon is really, really cool. I think it's just a very cool idea. They did it really well, and I am happy to see it successful. 10 years later, and it's like, yeah, it was not a flash in the pan. This is it's a real thing now. It's a real thing now. So happy 10-year anniversary to Splatoon. I say you deserve it. And I am very much looking forward to playing Splatoon 4. I don't know. Is next year maybe a little too early? Maybe a year after that? 2027? Yeah, probably 27.